Welcome to Hammer Dahn, the number one sports betting podcast coming out of the Pat McAfee Incorporated office, mostly because it is the only sports betting podcast coming out of the Pat McAfee Incorporated office. I am your host, Tone Diggs. I am joined by Gumpy. Former NFL GM Michael Lombardi also joins us on this beautiful football Friday. Hey, Michael, how we doing?
Mike? We're doing good, my man. We're doing good. All you Bengal backers got a nice backdoor cover last night. Pretty good, right?
Fucking backdoor Bengals.
You know. Look, I think that the only way you can handle that is as a bettor, and I think this is important for all of us to understand is. When that happens, you have to. The result was wrong, but the handicapping was right. I think that's the key.
We were on the right side, Michael.
The handicapping was right, and and it takes 5 fourth down conversions to get you beat. Then it probably just wasn't your night. But you can't go back and second guess the handicap.
No, I agree. I mean, I said it last night. I'm put it on my tombstone. I was on the right side. Will be put on my tombstone. Sometimes it just doesn't work out. What do you think about the staying power, though, for like that's the Browns' recipe if they want to win games, right? Run the ball, play action.
The only way they can win. People are giving me crap about Mayfield. That's how Mayfield has to play. That's how Mayfield has to win. Mayfield's not good enough to just put the team on his shoulders, but he can be a really good player in that environment where Chubb is doing the heavy lifting and so is Kareem Hunt. Now, it's hard to run against most teams for 200 yards a game, but we talked about it yesterday. We knew without Mike Daniels, without Geno Atkins, that was going to be a pretty good chance that they were going to be able to run the ball against the Bungles.
Yeah, and there was actually some us Browns backers. We lost the Browns backing bet, but Nick Chubb to score the first touchdown. We hit as a super boost to score 670. Pat hit a super boost that was Joey Burrow over his yardage total, them to cover, and I believe I can't remember what the third category was, but that was a big one. So we had a good night in the office with or without the Browns loss. Gumpy, what do you got, buddy?
Hey, Mike, who were you more impressed with last night, Burrow or Mayfield?
Oh, Burrow, without a doubt. I mean, Mayfield, when you break down Mayfield, I mean, there was a lot of easy throws for him to make. The throw to Beckham where he turned to his left, that's a great throw. But I've said this all along. I mean, Mayfield is really good throwing on the move. He's really good. But there wasn't a lot of hard throws for Mayfield in that game. He throws the interception. He doesn't read the back door at the back corner coming off and taking the over route. So I'm not an anti-Baker Mayfield guy, but I don't think he did anything in that game that Case Keenum couldn't have done. Like, I don't think he's that extraordinary. I think he's good, but I think he relies on that scheme having to carry him.
No, sorry, Michael, go ahead.
And I'm going to always, I think as a bettor, don't fall for it. When he plays against really good defensive coordinators who understand how to pressure him inside and take away that run game, then we'll have a conversation.
Yeah, we saw that last week, Mike. If the Browns go down early, I don't think they'll be able to come back with just the run game.
No, they can't, because if you study that offense, the history of that Baker, of the Mike Shanahan, Gary Kubiak offense, they have very little drop back passes in it. It's all play action pass. And then when they get into a drop back game, which is what happens to the Rams, which is what happens to a lot of teams, if they have to throw the ball in drop back, it's never going to be good enough.
No, and here's that thing, and late in the fourth quarter when he threw that interception, and you have the lead, that's not a throw that you need to make, and that was something that hurt us too.
No doubt. I mean, and look, you got the ball on the 1 yard line, you can't get it in. I mean, I thought the play calls down there were bad, although they got the advantage, they got it back again. But look, the reason, it's interesting. I mean, when they got the ball back with 5 minutes to go and they had the lead. They had to score some points at some, and they ran. Every play was a run.
Yep.
The game's on the line, and every play is a run. And you would have think they would have eaten up all that time on the clock, but they made big plays running the ball.
Michael, let me ask you this then. So coming off of what we saw last night, the Browns able to do to the Bengals defense, and then we look at what the Chargers were not able to do to that defense last week. Do you see them having any chance? Does last night give you any opinion on the Chargers and the Chiefs coming up this weekend?
It does, because I really think. Look, I really think that the Chargers offensively, I think, are going to struggle.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be sold on Tyrod Taylor until they prove me wrong. Now, maybe they get some blown coverages, but I think the Chargers offensively, are going to have a hard time. Now, Mike Daniels played in that game last week, but that really doesn't really matter. I think when you break this team down, the Chargers offensively with Tyrod Taylor, they're missing a quarterback. I mean, I thought it was a reach to go with him as their starter. He's going to have to prove me wrong. I'm on the side against Tyrod most of the time.
Yeah, and they also they lost Pouncey for the year. I believe that came out yesterday or today. Yep. So that is not going to help that line that always has injuries. All right, so yesterday we talked about some of the games with the big spreads. Today, before we get into our picks, I wanted to talk about some of the games with some smaller spreads, not small spreads, but games that we didn't talk about yesterday, and that's Falcons at Cowboys -4.5, Lions at Packers -6.5, and then you have the Washington football team going to Arizona, and they're getting 7. Do you have any thoughts on any of those 3 games?
Well, I don't know how Washington's going to score 7 points. I mean, they averaged less than 4 yards a play, and Arizona was good last week on defense. They held Jimmy Garoppolo to 2 for 11 on third down, and that to me was a problem. I mean, how good is Dwayne Haskins? Do they have any skill players? I mean, they don't have a running back that you're scared of in Washington. So that's a lot of points that you're laying with Arizona, who's not a great team by any means. And, I think the Washington defensive front will give Kyler Murray some problems, but he gives them problems too, because he can run around, and he's like chasing the Roadrunner, man. It's beep, beep all over the place.
Yeah, and so I feel like that Washington football team defensive line is similar to the 49ers defensive line that Kyler Murray has shown that he doesn't really have an issue with.
That's correct. That's right. So I'm not on this one because I don't trust Haskins.
Yeah.
I'm not leaning one way or the other because, I don't trust Haskins. And by the way, I don't trust Vance Joseph, the defensive coordinator for Denver. So I don't have trust on both sides. So I lay away. I eliminate. I think the key for all of us that talk about these games is you've got to eliminate games from the start. You can't bet every game.
Yeah, and I'm having a hard time this week because, like last week, week 1, I looked at the board and I was like, I don't like a lot of games here. And I actually like it when the board is more like that, because this week I like a lot of games and I have a hard time. Then I got to pick and be like, which ones do I like the most?
Yeah, I usually start out with, I try to write down Monday morning when I see the lines. I try to write down what game appears obvious to me, and I write those down. And then I watch the tape, and then I go back. And typically, the games that I think are obvious, I usually stay away from.
Yeah, that's actually very smart because I feel like that's Vegas trying to get it. Hey, this line's too obvious. It's too sweet. It's a trap line. Don't take it.
Now, I'll tell you one game that I backed off of. It's a 7 points. I don't know what it is right now. And I know you don't bet it because it's the Pittsburgh Steelers, but that game for me was always, I didn't think Pittsburgh played great against the Giants. I didn't think that was their A game. The line's at 7 right now.
Yeah.
It's gone up. Caesars has it at, you can get some 7.5s. Actually, Bet Online has it at, there's some 8s out there too. But for me, I didn't think that the Steelers brought their A game. Plus, they have these offensive line issues. And I think Denver's defensive line is good. I think Vic Fangio can stop a running game. And I just don't have – I fell off this one because A.J. Bouye is not going to play with the shoulder. Are they good enough in the secondary to hold up when Big Ben's got to throw it? That scared me. But this is one of those that I almost wanted to play.
Yeah, and then
taking Denver and the points.
When I first came in on Tuesday – and I saw the line, and being a Steelers fan, I actually looked at the guys and I was like, I'm obviously not going to do this, but I would take a look at Denver this week. But then with the injuries and some of the things going on with Denver, I don't know. That's something I would probably stay away for. Do you have an opinion though?
It's interesting though. A lot of people are betting Denver.
Yeah, I know they have. I'm seeing right here they got 40% of the tickets, but only and 67% of the money.
Yep, we're on the same page here. That's exactly what I have as well.
Well, if you look at Denver, they had that fumble from Gordon and that goal line stop against them too, so they could have easily had a lot more points on the board.
They should have. I thought they moved the ball. I thought Drew Lock looked good. I'm not saying Drew Lock. I think Drew Lock executed the plays that he was asked to execute. See, I think what we have to do as bettors is sit down there when a quarterback completes a pass. We have to ask ourselves, was that the scheme or was that the talent of the quarterback? And a lot of times we're going to answer it's really the scheme. Mm-hmm. Now, there's some plays that they make. I mean, Lamar makes some plays that you just say, wow, that nobody makes those. And Mahomes does that too. But I think you got to really answer that. I don't think Drew did anything outside the ordinary, but I thought he played really well within himself. And I think Pat Shurmur has a good handle on how to handle the Steelers defense.
Yep, and then
much better than Jason Garrett did. I can promise you that.
Well, yeah, I mean, Jason, the Clapper. We know the Clapper, Michael. We don't even have to go into that. Do you have any thoughts on Falcons, Cowboys, or Lions, Packers?
I went with the Falcons last week. You'll never get me back on the Falcons again.
Same.
I mean, I think they're soft. I don't think they're tough enough. Defensively, I would thought they were going to be much better, but I don't think they have corners that could cover. I don't know how they match up. Like, I don't know how Dallas doesn't just put 40 on them. Mm-hmm. Just move the ball up and down the field on them. Like, I don't know. They can't cover anybody. They proved that they couldn't cover Seattle's receivers. And Seattle, if you called up John Schneider right now, he'd tell you, look, we need receivers. We're not great there.
Yeah, and then like I actually, you saying they might put 40 on them, and it's not like the Falcons. It's not like the Cowboys defense is great, and the Falcons offense is decent. The over under of 50 seems like it might be a play. Gumpy, did you have something?
Yeah, the Falcons have been slow starters too, Mike. They're 1-6 their last 7 in September. I like the Cowboys to bounce back here. They're actually a pick 'em on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, you have them as a pick 'em, really?
No, they're just a pick 'em mine. -4.5. I'm taking the Cowboys.
I got it. Yeah, I got you.
All right, and then let's go place that you were at, close to home. Patriots are going into Seattle. I believe the line right now is 4 still. Do you have any thoughts on that game?
A lot. Josh McDaniels, if you just list every time he plays Seattle, it's usually somewhere between 450 and 500 yards of offense.
Okay.
If there's ever a guy that knows how to attack Pete's scheme, it's the New England Patriots. Okay. They really understand how to do it. Now they're going to have to execute. They've gone up there before and they've had opportunities. I can remember back in one of 2012, Brady missed a throw. I know that head's coming in there. Brady missed a throw.
He's going to love what you're saying right now.
I think this will be a really close game. I think this is going to be a good game. I think it'll be a fun game to watch. It's going to be interesting to see how the Patriots control Russell Wilson in the pocket and don't let him out to beat them. I think this could be a really good down to whoever has the ball last kind of game. I would lean towards taking the Patriots in the points.
Yes!
I think it's a field goal game.
Hey, I like the Patriots outright, personally.
Yeah. I mean, look, I think Seattle was, 4-4 at home last year, which is shocking. They were 7-1 on the road. Not that there's going to be any fans in the stands, but, I think that they have the one thing the Falcons don't have is a great secondary. I think the Patriots can take advantage of it. Like I said, the Patriots understand how to attack this scheme. Now, you've got to block them up front, and that's really the weakness of Seattle right now. Their front isn't as good as it's been in the past.
Is that somebody flushing down your Browns bet yesterday?
Oh, I knew you were going to hit me with that. I'm actually proud of my Browns bet. I actually think I was on the right side. I thought I handicapped that game right. I just think the outcome was wrong. But I felt pretty good about it. I thought the Browns and Baker would play well. I didn't think they would go 5 for 5 on 4th down like the Bengals did. I mean, you needed all 5 of those to cover that bet, every one of them. I mean, how many times does a team go 5 and 5 on 4th down? I don't know. So I'll take the loss. I'll move on.
I'll take the dub. I woke up this morning very surprised. I fell asleep. The game hadn't ended yet. I woke up this morning ecstatic about what old Joey B did there at the end of the game. Very pumped up. That came out of nowhere. Everything hit, though. The over hit, his 238.5 yards, that hit. There was a prop on FanDuel is at plus 700 at one point. That hit. I mean, there was a lot of things that hit for me last night. I woke up very, very happy. And I went to bed not exactly thrilled because I heard you say the Browns are going to cover or whatever. And then I saw that it was happening. I'm like, damn, this is going to be a bad night. Woke up this morning, 6 to midnight, pal. Here we go.
Hey, I think we should keep in mind, too, next week the Brownies play Washington. It'll be a different game. The Redskins, I think the Browns' defense is really suspect. not taking nothing away from Joe Burrow at all. I think they should have involved Joe Mixon more in that game. I mean, for him to throw it 61 times is a lot. But I think when they play Washington, that's going to be a hard matchup. It's going to be interesting to see how that line is affected. Like right now, as I look at that line today, it's 4.5. The Browns are favored. So just keep that in mind. I mean, always think about that because there is a impact from the last game they play influences the line.
Kind of like Washington.
Hey,
Michael.
Diggs, are you going to let somebody on your show, though, just bury people every single week? No offense to Joe, he said. No offense to Joe. The guy threw 61 times for a lot
Well,
of
if it's
yards.
Browns and Bengals players, yeah, I'm going to let it happen every time.
Okay, I just didn't know.
And that's just how that's in our blood.
Yeah, you Italians got to do what you got to do.
All right, before we get to our picks this week, this is actually one of Pat's picks, and I'm definitely going to jump on this too. This weekend at FanDuel, the Super Boost, Chiefs -8.5, normally -110. You get them for +150. Whether you like the Chiefs or not, which you should, that's just good value, and you probably have to take it.
Yep.
You got to take that. I almost took them at the 110. I mean, from my podcast, like I don't know how the Chargers. I think they're overrated on defense. I think they are. You know, we haven't talked about the safety who's not playing. You know, he's out with a knee injury. And so, that always hurts their defense. I don't know where the Chargers are going to be able to get points from. And so Tyrod Taylor, I like the Chiefs here. I do. I'm not scared about the points with the Chiefs because they can score at a rapid pace.
I literally, this show is the worst because I like the Chiefs -8.5 versus the Chargers a lot. Like, I like it a lot. It's actually my super boost this weekend but hearing him just say, I'm going to put another max bet on that. Like,
Gotta do it.
It feels like there's no way the Chargers can slow down the Chiefs or stay within 8.5. No way. And we might be wrong, I guess, Lombardi. You're rarely wrong. But I just don't see any outcome happening where that happens. And I like the Chargers. Hey, I like what they got going on over there. The Chiefs are just a different animal, Mike.
I do too, and I think that this running back, obviously makes them different. And the fact that the Chargers can't go point for point with them. The last time they played in Kansas City.
Is that a shitter over there?
Sliding glass door.
No, they're fixing my street out front here. It's
they're paving.
They're doing construction on the street. It's I'm sorry. It's like, my wife's not happy about it either. The last time they played it, they required a kickoff return by the Chiefs to get it. I think they won by 10. It was in Kansas City. I mean, Kansas City needed that game because I think it was 31-24. Kansas City needed that game to clinch the second seed. The Chargers have always played them close, but that was the Chargers with Phillip Rivers. I don't know where Tyrod Taylor is going to be able to handle this, and I know he's got skilled players around him, but the offensive line, to me, keeps getting weaker with all these injuries.
They're going to score over 47 too. Maybe the Chiefs themselves, right?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think so. I think the Chiefs. I don't think the Chargers are as good on defense as we think they are.
All right, Michael, because I like watching you talk and then Pat put money in his phone, let's get to your picks for this week. Please, sir.
I love Philadelphia. That line has gone Philly -3 to Rams +1.5. It went to Rams +2. You got to shop this line. It's back now on my board. It's Philly -1, pretty much steady across the board.
Yep.
61% of the money that's been taken in on this game. This could be a Billy Walters special here. There's 27% of the tickets are written up on the Eagles. 61% of the money is on the Eagles. I like the Eagles. I like the matchup. Here's why I like the matchup. The defensive line of Philadelphia will pressure Jared Goff. And I think if you pressure Jared Goff, he'll make mistakes.
What'd you get it at, a pick'em?
I think I had it on I gave it out as a pick'em. Yes, I would still do the -1.
Okay.
I mean, look, anytime I can get a bet where the line opened at a number and went to another number, like last week with Denver and Tennessee, I'm always going to take where the line moves away from the team because it's coming back. Eventually, it's coming back. You're going to see serious coin come in on Philadelphia on Sunday morning.
Hey, and you'll know because you'll be at the Borgata.
Yes, I will. I'll let you know as soon as I've been trying to find out who he's on. We haven't heard yet, so we'll try to see if we can figure that out. The other game I really like, and I'm going to take this in my survivor pool.
Okay.
I'm going to take the 49ers, and I had 6.5 on the line that I was looking at, the circa contest. So I can reduce that by how much can I reduce that by? 1, 2?
1 point.
So I'll take the Niners at 5.5. I'm going to take the Niners at 6.5 in my in my picks anyway, because I don't think the Jets without Jamison Crowder, I don't think the Jets have anybody that they can do offensively, and I think the Niners will really can take this game over. I thought the Niners didn't play well last week. I have faith in Kyle Shanahan. I think he's a good coach, so I'm going to go Niners here, and then I'm all over. This is another.
Hold on. Would you go Niners 7 or no?
I would go Niners 7, yeah.
Okay. All right. So that means I'm going to go.
Yeah. I mean, that was one of Pat's picks are Chiefs, Niners, and Patriots. So he's on you.
I considered Pittsburgh. I considered Denver at 7. I wanted to have 7.5, but that line didn't come out that way. But I like the Niner pick better. Okay. But my other pick is the one I like a lot. I like Indianapolis over Minnesota.
Yeah,
like that.
I'm gonna lay the 3. Now it's already moving to 3.5 in some spots. This line could move to 4 pretty soon.
It's still sitting at 3 on FanDuel, but it's minus 125 on the juice, so it's about to move.
It's about to move.
Is that what that means?
Yeah.
Colts have won this straight up and against the spread the last 3 meetings as well.
Yeah, I have a lot of faith in Frank Wright. I think he's a really good play caller.
That's good.
I think he's got a chance. I think Minnesota's defense, Dantzler, the young corner, he's not going to play. Their secondary was not very good last week against Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers looked sensational. He was great last week. They got down the field, got behind him. They couldn't defend the run over the pass. Minnesota looks a little too young right now on defense. I think they've got some problems that are going to continue throughout the year. The other game I was thinking about, I didn't have enough guts to pull it, was Carolina and taking the points.
I know, because Godwin may possibly be out. Evans is banged up. You don't know if they figured it out yet. The only issue is the Carolina defense for me.
No, they played poorly, and that's what held me back from it. There's no denying it. I thought Carolina did. I think Joe Brady did a really good job. If you watch that Raider game closely, they were going to win that game. They ran that stupid fullback belly inside on 4th and inches. I hate that call. But anyway, they moved the ball really well in that game. I thought they were doing, they were. Teddy Bridgewater is not great. Don't get me wrong, but I thought Teddy was really effective.
Jesus, I mean,
he's great against the spread. 16-3.
Listen to that. Are you kidding me? 16-3, Teddy Bridgewater against the spread.
I mean, I think it's. I'm not playing it, but the ones I thought Denver would jump. Like I look at when I write it down, the games that I considered Miami too at 5.5. I'm not going to take Mitchell Trubisky, so I'm not taking that one. And those were the ones: Denver, Miami, and the Giants. I considered.
You guys have anything, Mike? Before I let him go.
Nah, I got nothing.
Pat's picks, by the way, are the Chiefs minus 8.5, the 49ers.
Hold on, I'm going to write it down. What is Chiefs?
I'll tell you. Chiefs. I don't remember actually, Diggs. You should tell them.
Chiefs.
Got it.
49ers.
Good. Oh, we're together here.
Patriots.
I know, yeah.
Love it. I like your picks. I do. I do. I mean, look, we'll find out. But look, I think the thing you can't get too caught up in is, look, we're not going to bat 1,000, right? We're going to make some mistakes. And sometimes even when you get it right, it's wrong.
True.
Like you guys last night.
Yep,
yeah.
Just like last night.
That was you guys. Yeah.
I really felt like I felt really good about that game last night. I thought it went exactly how I thought it was going to go.
I never sweat. It was never a doubt for me. I knew Joe Burrow was going to cover.
Cool Joe, dude.
You got to like Joe, really. Isn't he impressive? I mean, look, they've got to do a better job of protecting him. They got to do a better job defensively. I mean, could you imagine if Josh McDaniels was coaching the Bengals? Just think about that for a minute.
Okay, so here's a question I have for you as a GM. For instance, old Zach, we have no idea if he's a good play caller or not. I think the last time the guy called plays, like high school football, he was a quarterback coach for the Rams. He's with McVay. McVay has success. Let's get him over here. He's calling plays last year. They stink, obviously, get number 1 overall pick. Now they got Joey Burrow in the second week throwing the ball 61 times. You're behind, obviously, but you got a good guy in Joe Mixon that could help you out. If you're a general manager, do you ever poke your nose in that conversation on how the coach calls the game, or is that ship sailed already because they hired Zach Taylor to do that?
Yeah, I mean, I think you got it. I think these coaches need I think the one thing you learn watching basketball games is those basketball coaches understand how to pace the game and how to play the game at a certain pace. And I don't think football coaches do this as well. So I would have a conversation with Zach and say, look, Zach, you and I both know that this kid's not going to survive 61 passes in a game. We've got to pace the game. The only way we're going to beat Cleveland is we got to either get ahead of them or we got to slow the game down, because they're better than we are. They can execute. If we can force them to play outside themselves, i.e. play, force a drop back game, we got a chance. But we need balance. We can't be a good team. And if he said, well, our offensive line stinks, well, then we got to change players. Then we got to get better. Like, we can't go with something we know is bad, and I think that the pace is a real issue. These offensive play callers, as head coaches, they don't understand that. They just get me the ball back. I want to call more passes.
Now,
and it's a problem.
Is that every week, or is that just as you see fit, as you deem fit? And is that normal for the general manager to have that conversation with the head coach?
I don't think it's always normal. I think, you don't want to, coaches the coaches are like doctors. You can't second guess them on anything. That's like, no, you've never heard a doctor badmouth another doctor, have you? Absolutely not. I mean, there's but if I were having this conversation, I could have it with Belichick. I could go talk to Rick Venturi, the former defense coordinator of the Colts, and Rick and I could have a conversation just like that about how to set up the game. But very few people understand how to do it. I like Frank Reich because I think he gets that. Now, I think Frank Reich needs to have a conversation with Matt Eberflus and say, yo, Matt, we can't make this guy out to be the Sonny Jurgensen over there. We're going to have to make Gardner Minshew beat our asses. We got to put some heat on him. Like that, you got to do.
Those uncomfortable conversations have to happen in the NFL. All those uncomfortable, whether it's with a player.
They have to. Like if I would have been the general manager with you, Pat, and Bruce Arians is getting Andrew Luck killed with all these, we got to have a conversation here. Look, I know the line's not playing well, but we got to do something to protect them. I know we want to get 5 out. I know we need 5 receivers, but we're not going to be here if this guy gets hurt.
And by the way,
and it happened.
It happened. Of course it happens, because it's a hard sport to keep the quarterback upright. It's like Carson Wentz last week. How about, Carson Wentz, you got to say to yourself, okay, what's going on in this game? How do we adjust the game? What do we need to do to fix the game? And I think very few coaches really spend time on that. They're so busy looking at their call sheets, they're not thinking about how they want to readjust the game.
Sorry for that, Diggs.
Hey,
I always wondered that.
That's why we have Michael on, for his vast wealth of knowledge, plus his beautiful gambling picks.
Has he told you how nice your hat looked today? This is a very nice hat.
Well, I told him how nice his shirt looked yesterday, but no, he hasn't said anything about my hat today.
Unbelievable.
I love the hats. I love the hat. I think the hat's part. I thought the hat was part of the whole thing for the brand. I love it. I think it's awesome.
You know what?
I think you should do a little Cam Newton-ish. Now, my son tells me, this is reliably reported, that Cam has yet to come into the facility with the same outfit or the same hat on any consecutive day. So I think you got to up your hat game.
Hey, that's breaking right there.
Michael, those the Cam hats are quite a bit more expensive than the ones that I am wearing.
No.
Well, we hit a couple of these picks. You'd be able to afford them.
Well, it's funny you say that. If he didn't cash out of the plus 42,000 bet just this past, what was that?
Could have had hats for years.
5 days ago, he probably could have had all
for years.
Oh my God, 5 days ago he could have done this.
I told the guy who runs the Borgata that story. He just shook his head and said it up. See, that's the problem with these apps, is they entice you to go in there. They just, if you would have not had that enticement, you would have just grinned and bared it.
You are 1,000%.
$20, $20 parlay plus 42,000. You're 2-0.
Well, he's going to spend $20 on just bottled water this week. I mean, seriously.
All right, Michael, thanks for joining us this week.
Attaboy, Diggs.
Thanks, guys. Talk to you Monday.
Good luck. Talk to you Monday.
Go on, Mike.
Have a good weekend, Mike.
All right, so Michael's on Philly -1, -1.5 at FanDuel right now. 49ers -6.5. Indy -3. Pat is on the 49ers also -6.5, and the Chiefs -8.5 with the Super Boost at +150. And the Patriots, did I say that? I am also on the Colts this week, -3. I am on the New York Giants +5.5.
Wow, Saquon coming out after Tiki.
Yeah, I mean, I don't trust Mitch at all. That doesn't happen. And I am also on the Cowboys -4.5 because I think the Falcons stink.
Okay.
I'm with you there, Tom.
I told Michael earlier that I have 12 bets, and I'm just picking 3 out of these 12 that I.
Oh, you have 12 favorites. That's got to feel pretty good. Diggs has 12 good ones. not even, you're not leaning towards any. You have 12 that you're.
Straight
These
up.
are
I
like,
have 12
They're all
good
good.
ones.
They're all good.
how many, let's just do, you pick a number 1 to 12. All right, 6, boom, this one. These are my top 3.
Gumpy, what do you got, buddy?
I got Packers, Cowboys, Colts, and Packers.
Packers.
Oh, Niners, sorry.
Packers.
I was about to say, interesting strategy picking the same game twice.
Packers, Cowboys, Colts, Niners.
Can you do that in this game if we're keeping track?
Do what?
Can I just say 3 on.
Oh, a 2-unit play.
I mean, you could do units.
Yeah,
we
you
weren't
could
keeping
do
track of
units.
units, but we could.
It's interesting.
Because then it gets.
The survivor pool should have been double knockout, by the way.
And you should have been buy back into it.
Yeah, one
Well, why
and
don't we
done
do-
was a
Well,
big
because then it's not
aggressive.
Survivor. Because Survivor is when you're dead. We
Well,
should
when
have
everyone
named it
loses,
Survivor.
It'll be
Whenever-
over in
listen,
a couple weeks.
When everyone's,
We'll be
just
back.
do another one.
We'll be
Okay,
back.
good.
We'll just do another one.
But we shouldn't have described it the way. This is my fault too, by the way.
Well, that's fine.
Yeah, shouldn't.
Speaking of the Survivor, everyone's going to come back into the office right now, or the studio. Survivor +1, -1. So they pick a team, and if they're favored, they get 1 point knocked off of the spread. And if they're dogs, they get 1 point added to the spread. Boston Connor, please make your pick.
Hell yeah.
How are you still alive? Who do you pick last?
I picked
Patriots.
Can't we just do records and then just keep it going for an all-season record?
Just
everyone-
make your
Survivor.
fucking
Oh,
pick, dude.
yeah, Survivor. Okay. It's the revenge tour. It's not the revenge game. Packers -5.5. They're going to slaughter the Lions.
Okay. Packers.
Surviving.
By the way, Lombardi was on the Niners for his Survivor.
That's right.
Ty, what do you got, pal?
Well, I heard Lombardi say that. I mean, are we going by our book here? Because he got the Niners at
6.5 or
yeah,
something.
You got him
like
at
that.
-6.5, and
-5.
ours is at 7. So
Well, I mean, okay, so I'll take the Niners -6.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that.
Well, I'll make Lombardi also Niners -6, so it's a
Okay,
fair
sounds
even.
good.
Oh, is that what he wants still? We don't know if that's still what he wants.
What it is at Circa.
Or
I don't know what that is, but
it's a brand new casino in Vegas, and they do like this $1 million where you pick
Oh,
5.
yeah.
So it's one of
I
those, and they
remember
put
that.
out the line, so he goes off of those. Who's up next? Nick.
I don't think that.
I like the Ravens. I'm taking them down to 6.5.
Okay,
Jeez, what do you like
Bailey.
about him, Nick?
that was quick.
Nick, what do you like
What's
about
not to
the-
like? The freak athlete, a quarterback. The Texans absolutely stink. All they got is offense, and their offense isn't even that good.
You think the Texans stink?
Yeah.
Do they? I don't know. That's an interesting thing because
When they go against the Ravens on Sunday, they're going to.
I like
Yeah,
that.
it's not a bad.
I
Billy
do
McMitch
wonder if
Tits
the-
isn't going to have any answers.
Caller said that yesterday. This might be my favorite name for him of all time.
What's that?
Billy O Bitch Tits.
That guy was a savage. I do wonder about the Texans though, because they played the Chiefs. Like that's a tough.
I know.
That's a tough out.
Hey,
Speaking
there
of
goes
Billy Bitch
watching
Tits,
goes.
make your pick, please.
Appreciate that, Tone. I'm going to go with the Vikings over the Colts.
So you're going Vikings +4.
Yeah.
Oh
I
man.
don't think the Colts could stop a wet sock from getting thrown in the end zone right now. So
Oh jeez. I don't think so. He's been in Counter Strike all fucking day.
Zito Berta.
Hey, how's your Counter Strike bets going?
lost my first one today, still 75.
Oh, fade 'em.
6 bets.
By the way, Bill will be
over.
putting out his Counter Strike bets out on his Twitter. He told me so.
They're good.
So he's 3-1 in the last 2 days, and
Yeah.
it's Connor's new addiction is betting on this Counter Strike video game. Shit.
It's a good game. I mean, I like
no
watching
idea what it is,
it. It's
You have
fun.
no idea what we don't. I think Bill just walked in and said, "Hey, dude, hey guys,
Basically.
we can bet on this." And it's like, all right, this kid watches this all day, and he really is. He might be. He calls himself the authority on Counter Strike
does.
gambling, and he might be 100% right.
I mean, perfect day yesterday. Andy hit a massive dog. I think it was like +205 or something. He knows.
Yeah, he knows. Billy knows, dude.
Bill knows. Last Survivor pick, Zeke.
I'm gonna double Dahn, go Bear Dahn. 5.5.
So the survivor,
Negative.
the survivor pool for Zito is just whether or not the Bears can pull it off.
Aren't they -5.5 already?
They're
No.
negative.
He's getting him at 4.5.
Oh, come on.
That's good for you.
Oh, yes. Bear Dahn.
Who they playing?
Jay, did you lose last week? Yeah.
Cowboys. I think 3 people lost on the
This
Cowboys.
thing, we'll be back. We'll be back. I mean, this thing will restart in 2 weeks, I think.
What do you mean?
I don't
Bears
know.
gonna
I don't know
keep
if Zito's going to lose. He didn't even know what the spread was. Those are the people
Those
that
are the
hit.
people. The last thing on our schedule here is Tony's College Cash Out Parlay of the Week. Because of the unfortunate situation that happened last week, I will try to duplicate that every single weekend.
And you'll never get it again.
I'll never
And
get
you'll
it again.
never get it. 4 underdogs, massive odds, plus 42,000. We'll probably never see that day again.
Ever.
And you know what? He robbed from us when he cashed out. What about us celebrating our friend hitting a plus 42,000? I would like to tell that
think
story.
You guys would rather.
Ruined our Saturday night. Ruined our Saturday
You guys
night.
would rather have
We were
what
trying to
happened.
celebrate with you.
$8,000 for you, we would have been through the roof.
Michael Lombardi said he told his friend at the casino. That's what we would have
Runs
been
the
doing.
Borgata, the #1 casino on the entire East Coast.
Well, I would just like to be able to say, though, that my friend hit a plus 42,000 odds
Incredible.
bet, and you did. though.
Technically did.
But you cashed out of it.
So we'll try to do another one of those tomorrow. We'll put that out on the socials. It's not gonna. It's
$20.
It's not gonna happen.
$20, dude. But he won 200. Hey,
we won.
Huge return.
Won 180 or something.
Yeah, boys.
Got a hat. Got one hat.
Don't forget about the Super Boost Chiefs. Super
Hey,
Boost
now
on
we
FanDuel.
cannot look past, though, that he did pick 4 underdogs in college football the first weekend to win, which is
It's a real crapshoot. I wouldn't recommend betting on college football right now.
well, you're putting out a college cash out parlay. Literally, that's
Well,
what-
I'm gonna do it.
But you're saying we shouldn't.
Tread carefully.
Yeah.
It is crazy. You don't know what's going to go on. I've lost a lot of money gambling on college.
Wait until
football.
the SEC.
Everyone,
comes back.
good luck this weekend. Bet responsibly, and we will see you on Monday.